The podcast is back. Welcome to Tasler Guide Service. Join along as my guests and I dive into our outdoor adventures, share some laughs, and of course a few beers. A new episode will be released every other Friday at 5 a.m. I hope you guys have as much fun watching as we did making it. So let's try round 2.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Of Butteris coming on. Jeremy Butteris, right?
Butteris, yep.
And for Central Iowa Angling. And he's a buddy I met through Kit. And we did some ice fishing this year and did walleye fishing a little bit. And hopefully we get together this weekend and do a little fishing too. Yeah. So I'm going to head to, my son turned 21, so happy birthday, buddy. He turned 21 yesterday.
Don't drink them all in one night.
Well, all he wanted to do was go fishing for the weekend.
That's not a bad plan for his 21st birthday.
Yeah, he didn't want to go to the bars. He didn't want a certain gift. He just said, let's go fishing. So we're going to start in your area.
He's built a little different.
He is.
Mentally.
He is.
That's a good thing for 21.
He is he's a fishing fanatic. If he has 15 minutes, he's going to fish for 35.
Sounds like
so. Yes, absolutely right. So I'm looking forward to it. You know, we're gonna go down your way. I think Sunday we're gonna meet up with Spencer, do a little channel catting. So it's gonna be a great weekend.
Yeah, sounds like a blast.
And I told him, I said, just bring clothes because if we don't find fish around you, we'll head south. If we don't find fish there, we'll go further south. Might end up in Oklahoma by the end of the weekend. Who knows? But we're gonna find fish.
Or you're gonna die trying.
That's right. So no, I went fishing with you, what was it, 2 weekends ago now?
I believe so.
Yeah, because last weekend I had the kids stuff. So 2 weekends ago I met down and I walleye fished off a bridge for the first time.
Yeah,
that's a weird theory for me.
It was weird for both of us.
Little urban fishing ways that I'm not used to, but
a little different combat fishing.
it was fun. People were catching fish. I didn't catch fish, but people were catching fish.
Neither one of us. We were kind of just watching. I netted a couple.
You did.
So that was cool.
And seeing the old bridge net, that was kind of fun. I've never used a bridge net either, so that was another.
Unfortunately, the waters didn't stay tamed after the weather, because I was on them and I was hoping to get you on them. But
You've had an awesome spring.
It's been all right.
I mean, you've been sending pictures and I've seen some stuff on social media. Your walleye fishing has been superb this spring already.
I mean, I think half of it's skill, the other half's luck.
Well, I need about 90% luck because I'm not really a walleye guy.
If you'd have asked me the first open water trip out that I'd go out there, first cast I get a bite, and then next thing I know, an hour later I got 6 walleyes caught. I'd have told you that you're crazy.
Not a bad day.
Yeah, it's been a nice spring so far.
And in urban fishing, there's always one guy that does it first, and then word gets out, and then there's 25 guys trying to replicate the exact same thing.
It happens.
It does.
It does. What do you do? Part of it, I think, is my fault, but I wanted to post that video to try and help people learn, not to necessarily go to that spot, but just kind of learn some different techniques when the water's low in the river and using a smaller jig head and just showing a couple different techniques that I use on not just walleye fishing but any fishing.
Your wipers, your smallies, yeah.
I mean, as long as you can get that jig down in the current where they can see it and you're not getting snagged, you got a shot.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, there's all kinds of finesse walleye tactics, but the main thing is you got to have it in the strike zone, and it's got to be not snagged up.
Yeah. Sometimes the bite's just absolute fire. I did 10 walleye day. That was a personal best.
In Iowa, that's almost unheard of.
It's pretty crazy.
That's crazy.
To go out first 3 trips and catch 4 limits. I'm pretty happy, pretty excited. It's a great start to the spring.
That's a good spring. Yeah, and then the water said, "Screw you."
Yeah, but you know what? I'm all for it because we needed it.
We needed it bad. This is the first time the river has literally been bank full in 4 years.
Yeah, both the coon and the Des Moines are up to the banks. So it's a blessing and a curse at the same time, because I want to go fishing, but it's kind of hard to fish fast flowing muddy water from the shoreline.
I tell you, I've been struggling. I've even hit some bridges, some smaller creek bridges where a couple creeks come together, and one night I went out and hit 5 spots and didn't get a single bite. And like 2 days later I went out and hit 8 spots and caught one little channel cat. Went out the next morning before work and didn't get a bite. It's been tough for me, but it's cold. Truthfully, we should still be ice fishing.
Yeah.
I'm just sick of ice fishing.
I had like 2 more weeks in me, and then I went walleye fishing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard.
My plans have changed.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to go back to the hard waters when the walleye are snapping like that.
And I think the last time you and I ice fished together, you're like, I'm tipping the big rods out Monday.
I did. Yeah, I did too.
I was jealous. Because walleye fishing where I'm at is very hit and miss, but this early it's miss and miss. There's very little hitting.
I will say this, since I started walleye fishing, this is the earliest I've opened water fish.
Yeah. Do you think the low water helped that a little bit?
I think it did. And
kind of warmed up.
It was crystal clear. I mean, you could see probably 2-3 feet of visibility. I mean, for Iowa, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good, yes.
I mean, when you can see 3 feet out on the shoreline, and I just threw out some pink and orange jig heads and threw a Kitech on it, and
magic started happening.
Yeah, man. It's the earliest that I've caught them, open water, and the earliest I've gone out after them. So it's kind of different. It's something that I learned. You can catch them in February in open water. You can catch them in January in open water.
When the conditions are right.
If you find a 50-degree day, all you need is a little bit of a heat up and maybe a couple days consistent weather, and they'll turn on for a little while.
That's key any time of year, but especially in the spring and the fall. Yeah.
And I think having a good setup, good walleye rod, I think that plays key into. I mean, I personally have 2 icons. I just bought another setup. Yeah. And I'm not promoted by it. They don't pay me, but I love their rods.
It'd be cool if they did.
Yeah, it'd be cool if they did.
So anybody with some icon.
Yeah. But, it's you feel everything on their rods, and it makes a difference when you're trying to tick the bottom and fish for walleye like that. And I use 6-pound line, and I use backyard Baitshop jig heads. He uses Gamakatsu hooks, and
that's what's sitting on the table here for those of you that can see. They're badass.
He does a great job, man, for a guy working out of his garage. I mean, he puts out a phenomenal product, and he's got great customer service. All his eyelets are cleared, so you don't have to chip away at any paint. And my success rate since fall has been phenomenal using his jigs. I've missed maybe 4 or 5 fish.
Which is great walleye fishing. Yeah, it really is.
It's even for the wipers.
Yeah. Have you got any good wipers yet this year?
Not yet. I haven't. Just a couple small ones, but.
So they are moving a little bit. They're starting to feed.
I saw one guy. He caught a couple nice ones.
Really? Mm-hmm. Good.
But.
That's what I'm kind of hoping Saturday turns into. Yeah. Might get in some wipers.
1 or 2 would be nice.
Yeah. I hope I don't catch a thing, and I hope Garrett catches them all. But that'd be cool for his 21st birthday to catch a 10-pound wiper. Yeah. Because that's, in that area that we're going, they're there.
Oh, yeah.
The 10-pounders get caught every year, so not by me, but they do get caught. So that'd be pretty cool.
They're fun fish.
Yeah. Wipers are a blast, for sure.
A different breed.
Yeah. So I started telling the story, and then we got sidetracked, but we went walleye fishing. I came down to you, and then we did a podcast.
Yep.
Southside Jethro's. If anybody's affiliated with Southside Jethro's, thank you guys very much for letting us come in. They set us up at one of the front tables, let me set all the equipment up, and we're there for an hour and a half doing a podcast, and they worked around us, which was awesome.
got some wings. And
yeah, got some wings.
Some
Beer was great.
32-ounce cold hugs. Nothing better after getting skunked up.
And then we was packing up, and I noticed that my SD card was full on my GoPro. While we were fishing, I must have hit the button, and it recorded for 2.5 hours without me knowing. So it filled my SD card. So we got a minute, 34 seconds of the original podcast before it shut off. So
here we are.
Yeah, Butteris was nice enough to drive from his place to mine, which is about an hour and 15.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Hour and 14.
Hour and 14-ish.
Hour and 10 if I really want to put the pedal.
So I appreciate him coming down. You know, I got him a little lunch or a little supper and having some beers and sit around and talk fishing. So thanks for coming,
Can't
buddy.
beat it. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. So I first met you with Kit.
Yep.
I've heard about you through Kit and Grandy for a while. But the first time I met you was I was running a guide trip and you guys were ice fishing. So I'm just kind of getting to know you, and you know I think I'm really gonna enjoy fishing with you. You think a lot like me. And then as we were talking, we realized that way back when we were probably on the same fight card.
Yeah.
You used to fight for my brother. I used to fight for my brother.
Yeah.
And there was a spot in Perry that we fought, and we only fought there twice. And you fought there once, and I fought there both times. So we probably years ago fought on the same fight card and had no clue until we randomly ran into each other ice fishing.
Probably drink a beer.
Probably
right next to each other. Didn't even know it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So now it's crazy how the world works, but
it's a small world, man. People don't realize how small it actually can be if you take a look around and you pay attention to things. You know.
Yes, and noticing things is not one of my strong suit. I kind of get tunnel vision, you know what I mean? But no, it's kind of cool to share, a lot of common interests with you, and I see us fishing together quite a bit whenever we can. So
yeah, looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, me too. So you are a flathead guru as well. Like, if you were to pick one summer fish, like you've got an afternoon or an evening, what are you gonna chase?
I'm gonna go bait fishing.
You're gonna go bait fishing?
Yeah, and I'm gonna
get ready to go.
And I'm gonna go load up my kayak and find a sandbar somewhere, camp out and get a couple lines wet.
Hell yes.
Try and get a big green ugly or big brown ugly, whatever you want to.
Depends on where they're coming out of. They can be yellow, green, brown.
If they're coming out of rock or mud, where they're coming out of.
Yeah. No,
I wouldn't say I'm a guru. You're more the assassin. you're more talented.
Which is crazy because I've probably killed 3 in the last 10 years, but I am the assassin.
As far as catching them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm a guru. I would say I'm.
But you love it.
Yeah, I'm an enthusiast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once June hits, I literally sleep for the month of June. I probably sleep more time in the sandbar than I do in my own bed. Literally.
Makes sense.
Like probably at least 4 to 5 nights a week, I'm sleeping on a cot by a fire or somewhere close to my fishing rods. Because I can't catch them laying in bed. So
that's a very valid point.
Yeah. So I say screw it. Now with guiding, if I'm running a 6-hour trip, I run 6 to midnight or 7 to 1, depending on my work schedule. But then I just throw out a cot on my boat, and I sit there and I sleep all night, and then get up and go to work the next morning.
Go back, drop them off at the access.
Yeah.
And you go back up to your spot.
Help them take all their stuff up to the vehicle and, say our goodbyes, and then I go back out and go to sleep. So it works awesome, actually. Couldn't think of a better way to spend the evening.
I don't think there is a better way in the summertime. You get a campfire, maybe a small fire going to cook, and there's nothing better than being out on a sandbar. To me, it's the morning.
Yeah.
That when you wake up and the fog's rolling off the river, and then you hear the eagles, and to me that's a whole nother world that a lot of people don't. They've never experienced.
Yeah, they don't understand it until they've seen it.
It's something else to actually live it and go through it and float back down the river, and you have an eagle that's every time you get close takes off, and then you float down a little more.
You catch up,
and then it takes off again. It's something else, man. I wouldn't trade it.
My coolest wildlife encounters have happened at night on my kayak. Like, let's say I didn't camp, but I fished till 1 in the morning, and now I'm floating down to the boat ramp to load up and go home.
Yep.
And, you know, I've ran across, like, litters of river otter. You know, there were 7 or 8 river otter just playing on a sandbar and diving off the rocks. And, you know, I pulled over for half hour and just watched them in my headlamp.
Yeah.
You know, or there was one night there was a pack of coyote pups that were just scampering around, and then all of a sudden I heard a, you know, the mom was up on the sandbar and she winded me, and those little shits hightailed it. It didn't take 2 words. She spoke once and they were gone. So that was pretty cool. And you know, you can't count the number of raccoons that you see up in the trees or on the sand, or you know, it's awesome. It's a definitely a different take than most people see on a daily basis.
Yeah, it is. It's a whole nother world out there. And then you take in the fact that you get to stare at the stars because you actually get to see them.
Yes.
Which
I'm a little more blessed where I'm at than you.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of city lights around you.
But even still, like, I can get out not too far from the metro, and you can see the stars pretty clear.
And you got some good fishing around you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
Don't tell anybody.
I mean, that sucks. They're not a flathead for 42 miles.
I live in Ottumwa.
There's good fishing in Ottumwa.
It's still Central Iowa, right?
Yeah, that's right. Central Iowa angling.
Most people who know me know where I live, so.
So, talk about your channel a little bit. Central Iowa Angling.
Central Iowa Angler.
It's angler, not angling.
I've been pretty lazy. I've only got 3 ice fishing videos up there so far. I just haven't gotten to a computer, haven't had the time.
Yeah. Do you have a bunch of footage saved up?
I've got like 2 ice fishing videos, and I've got probably 2 open water walleye videos.
From this spring?
Yeah.
They're gonna be dynamite.
Yeah.
They're gonna be badass.
The bad part is the audio sucked on one of them.
And that was when you and I went ice fishing with Matt. Was it Matt?
No, this was an open water.
I was saying that time that I videoed when we went.
Yep.
The audio sucked in all the daytime stuff. Yeah, the wind was just blowing because we were outside, the whole hopping,
you can't do anything about
having fun.
And that's the thing. I think that my walleye videos on the open water, it was just windy out, and the mic was just right in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And I think one of my clips I have audio, the rest are nothing. So
sounds like you're in a wind tunnel.
It's going to be some music with me catching fish.
Hell yes.
But
gotta get a little creative.
Yeah, it's slow going, but it took a while. It took about 1.5 years of people trying to convince me to get out there and put footage out. And then one day I was out on my kayak, out on a lake, and some random person was like, "Are you Butteris?" I'm like, "Yeah." "How's it going?" I'm like, "Okay," you know, to me it was weird.
Yeah.
And then they "Oh, you're on Kit's videos all the time. You ever get your channel started up?" And after that, I was kind of like, "All right, well,
all right, yeah."
People have spoken. They want me to, you know, I catch enough okay fish, you know,
and you enjoy doing it.
I do. Sometimes I will say, since I've started doing it, you can lose fish trying to focus on the recording aspect of it.
Worried about if the camera's on or the right angle.
I lost a couple of fish ice fishing this year, and that can be frustrating, and the editing.
It just takes time.
Yeah,
so much time.
You got to watch the footage back through, and I cuss a lot. I'll be honest. I was in the Marine Corps, so I cuss like a Marine, not a sailor.
Not a sailor.
Not a sailor.
I'm more eloquent than that.
That's right. So I'll be dropping, you know, F-bombs. I might drop one here, so Ryan has to edit it out. That's fine.
I'll try to get it. I'm not promising anything.
I know the listeners like hearing F-bombs, so. The editing's frustrating. I just got to get myself back in front of a computer and get that footage out to people. So
it all just takes time. You know, I've been struggling fishing wise. I didn't have enough footage for any videos.
Right.
You know, so I used some of my old River Certified videos lately that I had saved up just to kind of get something out there. But this will be on, it's Wednesday tonight, and this will be on Friday. Yeah. It'll be on
You'll be spending 6 hours tomorrow editing.
Tonight. Yeah, I'm going to stay up tonight and knock out about half of it, because I got my daughter tomorrow night. So I put her to bed at 9, so my editing starts at 9:05.
Super dad during the day and editor at night.
That's right. So anyway, it'll be done Friday morning at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
I won't be able to sleep till then, but it will be done.
It's for the listeners, man.
It is. It is. I mean, for what I'm trying to grow, I've got to be consistent, and I got to hold myself accountable.
Yeah.
If that means missing sleep, who cares? I can sleep when I'm dead. You know, I've done a lot dumber stuff and stayed awake.
You can catch up to at some point.
Yeah. When the warms up and I'm on the sandbar, I can catch up then. So this was supposed to be a fishing video week, because I'm doing a podcast week, and then the other week's a video week.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do a podcast this week, and then probably switch the rotation, and hopefully this weekend. Friday I'm going to go catching bait. I'll probably video a little bit of that. And then Saturday, you know, if you're available, want to hang out with me and my son, we'll go for a little bit. And then Sunday I think I'm going to meet up with Spencer, and me and my son and him will go out and chase catfish. So,
yeah.
You know, by this weekend I should at least have one video,
something.
I would hope. My podcasts have just not worked out recently. Like the one that we did, awesome podcast. I've got it on my recorder. I just don't have any video for it. But I listened back through it, and it would have been an awesome podcast. Yeah. So it is what it is. And today's, you know, you scooped in at the last moment, but today's I had Mike and Trish that I guide. They've been on a couple guide trips with me, and I was going to go to Des Moines and do one with them tonight, but their uncle passed away Monday.
Oh, that's too bad.
So yeah, so the odds have been against me lately, but I'm gonna win. Damn it!
Hey, Butteris is always here. At least you knew where to go. You know,
that's right.
I've told you last time. I'm like, I'm always available, man.
I'm like, I got gas money, I got your supper, and I got beer. Can you be here? He's like, hell yeah, I can.
I don't need that stuff. I told him I didn't need any of that stuff, but he's a gracious man. So
I am.
I'm not going to turn down a meal and the beer. I don't necessarily need the gas money, but.
Well, I appreciate it. So that's the way it's showing it. So you started ice fishing like 3 years ago?
3 years ago. Yeah.
How'd you get started?
Basically, buddies are like, "Hey, man, let's go. Well, you do all this open water fishing, you got to try it."
And they were well established, like they knew what they were doing.
They've done it before. They knew what they were doing, and I'm like, man, that's crazy. Cold out. Who the hell wants to go out and sit in the freezing? That's crazy. And then, you know, my first impression walking out my first trip, I'm like, it was 4.5 inches ice.
Yeah.
And it was still early ice, and to me it was kind of sketchy. Early in the morning, the ice is cracking. I'm like, whoa, what is going on? What's going on?
It's hard to wrap your mind around when the ice cracks. It's actually making ice.
Right.
That's hard to understand.
Which when you get seasoned, you realize that.
Yeah.
You know, and I've, obviously after spending nights on the ice and, you know, 3 years into it, it's actually pretty fun. I enjoy it.
The day one, though, when you walked out there, you had no idea. You're like, well, there goes $8,000. You know?
I did. and I was spoiled because I walked out there and I think I caught a crappie. It was like a 10-inch crappie.
Yeah.
And then my next fish was a 28-inch walleye through the ice in Iowa.
Well, that ain't bad.
No, not bad at all.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Nice rookie move.
Yeah. So, you know, you think, oh, this guy would just take a break and he won't, you know. Oh, no, I went back out the next day, right? Same spot.
You would have to.
Same spot. First thing, put a minnow down on a minnow head on a jigging wrap. Or no, it was a ripping wrap. A minnow head. Same lure I caught my walleye on. Same hole, practically. 13-pound channel cat. Wouldn't even fit through the ice. Barely got it through the ice.
This ice fishing's so easy.
And all on an ultralight rod with 3-pound test. Both, you know, I bought a Shields ultralight pole, and that's where I caught them both. You know, here I am.
You didn't have a chance.
No, here I am like $4,000 later. I got a hub. I got a Vexlar. That's decked out.
It'd be cheaper to use crack. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, you know any nice crack dealers? But I enjoy it, and to me, it's about meeting other people. Obviously, I ran into you. I knew who you were. You run into people, and most people in the ice fishing community are pretty nice people.
Yes.
For the most part.
Yeah. If you go to like the bigger lakes where there's like ice fishing cities,
yeah,
some people are more uptight than others. But in our small areas that we usually fish, there may only be 10 other people on that whole lake, maybe, and they're all pretty nice.
And we're all out to do the same thing. We're all out to catch fish, so it's like, why don't you just share the love, man? If you know the fish are biting.
And if somebody else catches a nice walleye or something, root them on.
Yeah.
Say, hell yes.
It's all there for us to take and for us to have a good time. If you want to keep fish, keep fish. If you're just there for the aspect of catching and just for the fun of it, cool.
That day we went out, I camped after you guys left, and the next morning I was striking some pretty good crappie. Yeah. And the guys that were next to me saw me throw them back. They're like, "What are you doing?" Like, well, I already cleaned fish last night and did a catch and cook, and I don't want to clean fish twice in one trip.
Right.
They're like, "Well, give them to us." I'm like, "No, you got to catch your own." I'm sorry.
What are we dam fishing now on the ice? Hey, keep that.
You go to keep that. Which they were catching fish too. So if it was like an elderly gentleman or someone with kids or something, I'd have given my fish. Yeah. But there was two guys and they were more than capable of catching their own fish. Yeah. So I said no. I apologize if it was you. It was just on principle alone.
Yeah, I mean, we all have our principles. Like, I caught a 26 from a dam, very, very well-known place last fall.
The spot?
Yeah, and the older couple that was next to me, the gentleman had already caught two really nice eater walleyes, like 17, 18 inches.
Perfect, yeah.
And, his wife, she gave me the net. I used it to net my walleye. She took my picture, and they're very respectful, nice people. Didn't crowd me, just real friendly. And I said, they asked, "What are you going to do with that walleye?" I said, "Normally I put these big ones." I was like, "I always put these big ones back."
Yeah.
And the guy, he pipes in. He says, "I'll give you these two walleye for your one." I said, "Okay." I'll take that.
Yeah.
Because I wanted some fish.
Yeah. And I don't feel bad about eating 18 inch, 17, 18 inch.
And he said, "Oh, this is great." He said, "Our daughter and son are coming back from out of state. This would be great for Thanksgiving. Thank you so much." And they were really happy.
Yeah.
99% of the time.
Damn well he told his daughter that he caught that fish.
Right. I don't care that. I don't care that.
The fish story began on the bank.
Yeah, 99% of the time I would let a fish of that caliber go.
Yes, I agree.
But
there is
sometimes
extenuating circumstances.
Sometimes you have to break your ethics for circumstances like that. And I did.
Like I said, if someone's got kids that want to keep fish, or if it's an elderly guy who's kind of struggling to catch something, he wants something to eat, I'm good with it.
Otherwise,
my fish.
Otherwise,
if not,
drill a hole and figure it out.
Yes, you're an able body. I'm not going to give you charity because I'm not taking charity from you.
Live scope, $3,400.
Yeah, I will not give you this fish, but I will sell it to you for $50. It's a live scope fund.
I think it's illegal. Slightly.
I don't care. Live scope's expensive.
Gotta pay for it somehow.
That's right.
I've thought about staying.
The prostitution ring hasn't turned out for me, so
I've thought about standing out on the overpasses at 235 with a sign that says "Need money for live scope."
I bet you get it.
You think so?
I think some fishermen. I'd like go right by Saylorville or something. People would find it hilarious.
I bet they would.
You might get hit by beer cans.
I'm not homeless. Just need money for a live scope. So
ice camping. My only trip this year was great until about 2:30 in the morning, and then it started making ice. And if you've never been on the ice when it's making ice, it sounds like you're in a thunderstorm and the lightning is hitting right outside of your tent.
Yeah, it's hard to sleep.
Yes, and you're moving up and down every time it cracks. Still enjoyable, but just don't plan on getting much sleep if it's cold. And I missed the biggest walleye I had hooked for a long time. missed it right at that hole. So that didn't allow for much sleep either.
You got to pull that deuce.
I know. And if it wasn't a treble hook on it, it wouldn't have been a problem.
Yeah, it wouldn't have popped off.
It was just that hook that wasn't...
hit the edge of the ice and it...
No, it went right in my transducer cable. Like I had to take pliers and pull it out of my transducer cable.
Oh, it actually went into the cable.
Yeah, and that took the pressure off and the fish popped out.
Oh, man.
It was nice. I don't know how big. He was over 23 safely.
Probably the one I put back.
Well, I put him back too. No, I think I caught 3 that night.
You had a good night.
I kept the first one because the grease was warming up.
Yeah.
I'd already cleaned some bluegill and crappie, so I caught one that was probably 15.
I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of jealous. I get to the car and I hear ding. Look at my phone. Who is it? Oh, it's Ryan Tasler. Got one. You guys left too early. And I'm like, son of a.
Not even to my car yet. What the hell? No, that one I was just cleaning the crappie and walleye, and I had a cut bait down with a bell on it, and I just heard one ding.
I
went and set the hook, and there he was.
That's a walleye bite. If it was a cat, it would have been ding.
My pole would have been done. Heck yeah! So tell us about your adventures in ice camping. Kit made a video, but you guys got some good stories.
I didn't make a video out of it because I was frustrated. It was a journey. We traveled 5 different lakes.
Yeah, by the time I saw you, you guys were 7 hours in, 6 hours in.
We drove for 5.5 hours before we decided on the lake that you were at.
Yeah.
But that's this year was tough. I mean, we didn't have consistent ice conditions and weather, and sometimes, a lot of guys on the internet, they complain about how people don't put in their work and this and that. Well, I'm one of those guys who put in the work. We put in the work.
And you're still gonna struggle.
It's just the way it is. Sometimes the ice isn't there, even if you find out. On the internet, you can't always trust what's online.
No, never ever trust an ice report.
Always check it yourself.
Yeah.
And
there's people that die every year. I thought there was plenty of ice.
I got my car stuck twice.
Twice.
It was a battle. We fished one lake and we caught some bluegills, and Kit decided, well, if we're gonna catch gills, let's go somewhere where we can have possibility of catching walleye and catfish too.
Yes.
A little bit better, a little bit smaller.
Yeah, if I'm gonna ice camp, it's not gonna be for bluegill.
No.
It's just my personal preference.
So we got there, and I got set up and cooked dinner, cooked some steaks and some veggies. That was great.
They looked awesome.
Yeah, it was good. Sorry I didn't bring a third.
No, that's all right.
The beer that you gave me, that kind of put me into a second wind on the camping thing.
Yeah.
Because I was miserable, But we after all that, the driving and then setting up, once we went to bed, woke up about midnight, and I missed a bite, had a catfish on, lost it, and I hear this click, click, click. I hear Kid in the other tent about 15 feet away messing with his heater. Well, his heater wasn't working. So my solution that I thought of right away was, well, let's just switch heaters. I'll take your heater, you take mine.
Maybe it wasn't compatible.
I had a 5-gallon tank, he had a smaller 3-gallon tank, and we got him to work. And I think his quit on him at like 3:45, 4 in the morning, so he got up and he just started fishing. Mine quit at about 3:30. And I bundled up and said screw it. And I woke up about 5.
I'm gonna bury my head in the sand. And
I had a sleeping bag rated for 10, so that was cool. It wasn't super cold that night. And after all that, we got through to the morning. We made it alive. and the fish.
A whole new world.
Yeah, a whole new world. The fish changed it for us. They turned it around. And Kit caught a nice catfish. I nailed the walleye. I was just pounding the bottom with a little jig and plastic, and
it was a good one. It was 23, 4,
23 and a half, and then I caught 2 that morning, and some nicer little crappie. And for all that struggle, once I caught that 23-inch walleye, I was like, man, it was worth it.
It's like flathead fishing. Yeah. It really is.
You're really only waiting for that one bite.
Yeah, you put yourself through hell for hours and hours and hours for that one bite.
For that one bite.
That's all that matters.
And it all went away. After I was just like, it's cool. You know, this made the trip.
It's the best trip ever.
Yeah, best trip ever. Will I go out and ice camp again?
Yeah, you will. You're hard-headed.
Now, I went up early season. I went to Mille Lacs.
Yeah?
And that was a 2-day trip. And that was cool because we got to drive out on the ice the second day. Less work, less setup.
Driving on the ice is great and until the ice leaves you.
It was self-satisfying to go to a new lake that you've never been to. No help really whatsoever. And get on fish from the minute you get there. We were catching perch left and right.
That's awesome.
The minute we got there, my buddy caught a northern.
Was it luck, or did you do some scouting on like maps?
We looked a little bit, but nothing crazy.
Yeah.
And then the second day, we went out on a resort, and we had a nice conversation with the owner of the resort, and he kind of told us what we were going out to fish.
Yeah.
You know, if you go to the left, you fish pike. If you go to the right, you fish walleye. They're hitting in this deep of water. And we just kind of went out, and we picked an area in between some people that were set up, and I think I caught like 12 walleye that day, and then my buddy, he ended up catching a few, and yeah, it was a nice trip. No mishaps there.
Yeah.
So it's all a roll of the dice when it comes to ice camping.
And anything in the outdoors. You know, one thing could ruin your trip. Maybe thinking about starting a walleye and crappie guide service
or
just a little bit.
Anything that's hot.
Yeah.
I mean, bite-wise, I chase all fish all year round.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if people want to catch fish, or they have kids that want to catch fish, certain species, I've got some expertise and some knowledge to share with them. And
you're starting to build your equipment wise.
Yeah, yep. I've got a couple nice walleye rods. I'll be adding some crappie rods here in a few weeks, but I don't have a boat. I do. Majority of my fishing comes from shore. Most of it's very public places. It's just certain things that I use and certain techniques that I use. They can outfish other people at times.
So it's not only a fishing experience, but it's a learning experience.
Yeah.
You pass on what you know, and to me that's one of my biggest draws of guiding, because I want to make them a better fisherman.
Yeah.
After they leave them before they got there.
Yeah. That's as far as the guiding goes, like that. My goals is I want to teach you. I want you to learn the same things that I learned, and you're going to learn them in less time. You're paying for it. I'm going to teach you as much as I can in those 4 or 8 hours that you fish with me. You know, it's a lot of it is stuff that I've just learned from being out fishing time on the water, and a lot of people don't have as much time as I do to go fishing.
That's exactly right. But you make it a priority. A lot of people have other priorities.
I'm single. I don't have any responsibilities besides my job, and
I work, I fish. That's it.
Yeah, I work, fish, eat, sleep, poop, repeat.
The water's starting to open up. It's going to be it's spring. You know, the wildlife comes alive and I come alive. You know, I don't want to be inside.
Nobody does.
Yeah, so I'm going to be outside nonstop. If it weren't for the bills, I'd never work.
Yeah, well,
I gotta work.
Money, adult things. Why can't we just spend it on what we want?
I just want to be 13 years old forever.
That's me.
Yeah, absolutely. That's me mentally, by far. So how do people get a hold of you if they want to go out on a guide trip?
You can reach out to me, 641-260-7911, or you can look me up on Facebook, Jeremy Butteris on Facebook. I'm friends with Ryan on there, so you can look him up that way. And you can also look me up through Central Iowa Angler on YouTube, and then I can reach out to you that way as well. I do check my comments if people comment on stuff.
So right now, let's say someone wants to go out next weekend or the weekend after, or even do you do weekdays? Like do you go out night trips?
I could do evening trips. I could do from like 3 to 8 or 4 to 8 or whatever.
Yeah. So what would you be after right now? Like for the next month and a half.
So ice out channel cats, that'd be an option.
It's going to start heating up.
Now that the lakes are starting to thaw out, that's going to be a hot bite. Walleye, once the water goes down a little bit.
Yeah, once it stabilizes a little bit.
And then about a month, probably around April, be hitting the crappie real hard.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait for crappie.
I love crappie fishing. The crappie to me means mushroom hunting. I go out and get a batch of morels, catch some crappie, fry it up. That's how my spring starts every year.
I'll trade you a bag of fillets for a bag of morels.
Perfect. Well, it depends.
You say, hold on now.
Without water, it's been tough the last few years.
I think we'll have a good year.
I think so too. I think it's starting off well. We get some heat in the ground while it's still wet. I think we could have a really good year.
Yeah. I'm pretty optimistic about a lot of things this spring.
Anytime spring comes around, there's nothing that can get me down. It doesn't matter. It's my favorite time.
I'm kind of nervous about this year, man. Like last year, I fished a lot of bodies of water that were low, and now I'm gonna have to.
You got to relearn.
I'm gonna have to adjust, and that's the thing I love about it is you learn every time you go out. It's not always the same.
No, but you do it long enough, you start seeing patterns for certain conditions, and you can replicate them.
It's not science, but it's science.
Yeah, that's very much science to be consistently successful. Yeah. There's certain things that are do's and don'ts. So.
I don't know. I can't guarantee certain fish. I can't guarantee like walleye. I can't guarantee that you'll catch a walleye. I'm gonna try and put you on one.
There's just not the numbers, and it's such a.
Well, it's hard when everybody puts it in the bucket or back of their truck and then they catch it. You know. That
day that we went out. There was probably a dozen that got knifed, and I think a dozen got caught.
They act like it's Lake Erie or the Maumee River.
Yeah.
You know? It's I caught 23 this year, and I've kept three out of those 23. But not everybody has the same mindset.
They don't.
And
Which
I have to respect that.
Yeah, don't have to like it.
No, I don't. I can still complain about it.
Yeah, there's some local guys that knife every 40-pound flathead they catch too.
Which is dumb.
Irks me, but
it's to me. I mean, that's my opinion.
That's their right, I guess.
That's my opinion. It's dumb.
I agree.
Take a 10-pounder all day.
Yeah.
Don't. I mean, those. How long does it take a 40-pounder to get that big?
It depends, but over 20 years.
It's mind blowing.
Yeah.
So you take one out of a body of water. Think of how you're affecting the ecosystem.
Oh, it's like the king just got assassinated.
Right.
Yeah, everything's in turmoil. It starts from the top down.
Yeah, I was blessed enough to catch 2 40+ last summer, and
last summer was a good year for big fish for me. Anyway, I probably caught more.
You had a great year.
I probably caught more fish over 30 pounds last year than I had the previously 5 years combined. I mean, I had a shitload of fish over 30 and 40 pounds.
It was only my second. You're going to be mad. It was only my second year targeting them.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
It's my buddy, him and his dad, they've gone out for 10, 12, 13 years targeting them. And he tagged along with us on a couple of the trips, and he said, the one night we were out there, he said, man, he goes, you guys got it dialed in.
Yeah.
He's like, all the times I've been fishing, he's like, we've never caught this many.
Well, low water traps them.
It does.
I mean, truthfully.
It does.
If you find where they're at, they're going to be there unless someone takes them out or they die.
Yeah.
They got nowhere else to go.
Yeah. Well, that hole specifically was very, very, very kind to us.
Yes.
Over the summer.
Yeah, there was a couple holes that I was able to get to that were very similar.
And we took 2 out of there, 3 the whole summer, all under 10 pounds.
Yeah, they were delicious.
Oh, they were. The belly meat, man. That's,
I'll tell you, it's
flathead. I don't think there's anything better than flathead belly meat. It's so good.
No, it is definitely good. I can't wait either. You know, that's the only thing that gets me through ice fishing is thinking about flathead fishing. I do enjoy ice fishing. I can't say that because it's laid back. It's kind of like fishing on a sandbar because you just sit around with your buddies and shoot the shit and have a good time. But it's not flathead fishing. How did you start fishing? Have you fished your whole life? Like, did you start when you were young?
Kid growing up, my grandfather would take me out trout fishing, rainbow trout.
So you didn't live?
I grew up in Dubuque.
Okay.
And eastern side of the state. So we went to Backbone State Park, Swiss Valleys, some streams there with trout in them. And my mom would take me. My dad took me out on a Mississippi on a boat when I was a kid on the river. I got hooked on it through that, and then I just, as an adult, once I got out of the Marine Corps and came back from overseas, I got, like, from high school till I went in the Marine Corps, I kind of stopped fishing.
There's too many other things that was on the plate.
Too many distractions,
yes.
You know, and wrestling, and I didn't have time for it like I wanted to, and I made a promise to myself when I was overseas that I would get back into it hardcore, and when I came back, and I've dove in.
Because everything you do is 100%.
Yeah, I dove in.
That's how we're a lot alike.
I dove in head over heels since I came back, man, and it's an obsession. I've lost relationships over it, but you know,
not good ones.
Yeah, they weren't that. I mean, they obviously weren't that great. I mean, but yeah, it's just something I do it. I work, I get off, I go fishing. It's my life.
And I wouldn't have it any other way. You know, like I said, I've had other priorities this winter, but now that it's spring, you know, it's going to be getting out a video every week. It's going to be making podcasts every other week, and fishing. That's all I want to do. I'm lucky enough that my buddies, 90% of my buddies, love fishing. You know, so I've always got someone to go with. You know, my kids love fishing. You know, it just kind of, everything revolves around the sport.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
I've kind of picked up new friends that are anglers, and they've kind of replaced all the other friends who, you know, aren't anglers.
Yeah.
So they take up their time now, because those people don't get out. You know, they don't get at me as much as they used to. It's okay. I'd rather have more like-minded people around me that do the same thing.
You kind of started your channel, but you haven't really taken it seriously yet. But
right.
When you do, it's going to be something that you're going to need support. Like, I needed you for support this week because my back was against the wall.
Yeah.
And you're there, you know, and that's somebody that doesn't fish, doesn't understand kind of the drive.
Right.
So I reached out to you because I knew you would.
Yeah.
So I would say 90% of the people that I hang out with on a regular basis are outdoorsmen, mainly fishermen.
Yeah.
So
it's a good thing.
it is. Like-mindedness just makes everything easier.
And to me, I'd rather, instead of being by myself out there, I'd rather be with a couple people that are, you know, pretty cool to hang around with. They can shoot the shit with you, give you a little bit of crap. It's a camaraderie thing, you know, and I can relate to it from my military days. It's kind of the same thing. You know, we'd give each other crap back then. You know, it's kind of the same deal. When I'm fishing, it's a banter, that back and forth.
Yeah, that's how I know I like somebody.
Yeah.
You know, we give each other shit.
If you can get in the kitchen and take the heat.
This guy's going to be all right.
If you can't, well, I guess you...
Yeah, you're not invited next week.
I guess you just can't hang down at the river hole.
That's right. There's a lot of times that, you know, I enjoy fishing with people, but once in a while there's just a little therapy and just going out there by yourself and
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And just taking time. And last summer I didn't take enough time to do that, and I kind of got burnt out a little bit with life until I made myself kind of take once a week or
it's a mental
once every other week.
Man. You gotta set that time aside for yourself.
And even, you know, since I was as old as I can remember, if I was upset or if I needed to think through a problem, the river's where I went.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah, it's funny. My mom, I love my mom, and you know, my brother, he's pretty big in church right now, singing and leading some sermons and stuff. And
if you could throw some prayers our way for 50-pound flathead,
50, 60-pounders, yeah,
I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, Mom, you hear that? But she gives me, you know, she's always trying to get me to go to church on Sundays. Go to church. And, you know, when I was a kid, I went a lot, and I just thought, I tell her now as an adult, you know, it's just not my thing. You know,
Yeah.
I'll go sit on the riverbank, listen to the water, and look at the trees and just listen.
To me, that speaks more than a human would.
There I am in church on the riverbank. You know, that's what I tell her. It's
definitely a spiritual experience when you break it down.
And people may think that I'm weird, you know.
Well, you're definitely weird.
But it is, man. And you can get in tune with Mother Nature. You can.
Some of the best dates are like that. You know, it just seems everything goes right.
If you have like 6 of these, you can get in tune with something else too.
That's right. The relationships that I've built because of it and just the experience itself.
How did you get started in fishing?
My mom, actually, she came from a huge outdoors family. They fished, they trapped, they hunted. Because, you know, back when they were growing up, they didn't have a lot of money. You know, if they wanted school clothes for the year, they trapped skunks. And they'd get $3 a hide. Yeah. And that's what they bought their own school clothes with. Yeah. So they were some of the only kids in school that had shoes. Because of skunks. They trapped skunks.
Yeah.
So.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
At all.
And my mom loved the outdoors. And same as me, you know. She kind of, when things kind of got tough and stressful.
Go fishing.
Yeah, let's grab the rods. Let's go. It could be just to the farm pond for an hour, just to clear our minds, or it could be a night on the riverbank. But that's how I learned to deal with it.
It's a nice, healthy distraction.
It is.
And it's a way you can go and hash things out.
Yeah.
You know, you get that hour, 2 hours where you can mentally just pick apart an issue or a problem.
And you know how many problems become not problems?
Right.
On the riverbank?
Yeah.
Like, why am I even worried about this?
Right.
2 weeks, it's not going to matter.
Why am I cussing this guy out in traffic?
Yeah.
Trying to get to my fishing spot.
Yeah. He's just trying to do whatever he loves.
Right.
Our shit just bunched in the way. It's not his fault. Asshole, get out of my way.
People drive too slow out there.
I know. Don't they know the walleye bite?
Yeah, come on. Got a podcast to get to.
That's right. Speaking of podcasts, Grandy got a hold of me this week. I'm he's going to start back up on the BFF podcast. So I'm going to be there. I think we're meeting next Thursday. So 8 days from now, we're going to meet in Ankeny and do a BFF podcast.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's good. He's back. I'm glad. I filled in for a few.
That was my next point. You were on a few with Kit.
Yeah.
And
had to keep them going, man.
And they went well. They were great podcasts. I listened to at least a couple of them. I'm not sure how many you actually did, but I listened to 2.
I did 2 or 3.
2 or 3?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Kit's a good guy. He's funny.
I love Kit, man.
Yeah.
He's I met him just through watching his videos, and then the next day I went out to a lake, and I'm sitting there talking to his roommate, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's him out there in the kayak." He came paddled up. He was like, "Hey, I just got done watching your videos last night."
You suck.
I like him because the one video I watched, he's talking about letting big wipers go. But how I met him and to what our friendship is today, you couldn't ask for a nicer guy.
Go out of his way to help you out.
He does.
Yep.
You know, and I've helped him, you know.
And Grandy's the same way. Grandy's one of the most kindest people I've ever met.
They're both awesome.
And I don't know either one of them well, but they both treat me like we've known each other for 20 years.
No, they're very, very good human beings. Grandy invited me down, and Kit invited me down to Kansas. And
it's a good time.
Oh man,
Blue Cat Central.
I thought I was going fishing. I went drinking.
Well, that's kind of hand in hand, isn't it?
The fishing sucked that trip.
Yeah, my last trip to Kansas, the fishing was good. I probably caught 40 or 50, but I didn't get anything over 15 pounds.
Yeah.
And normally you get at least one that was 50.
You're going after
blues,
white bass.
Oh, you guys were.
And crappie and stripers if one popped up. Drove all the way to Kansas and I caught it like a 6 or 7 pound drum.
Kit's a drum magnet. He blames everybody else that fishes with him. But the only thing that's in common is Kit's there.
He was with me. It was just me and him.
He always makes fun of everybody else for catching drum, but the only common denominator is him.
It's I don't think it's a coincidence.
He's a drum magnet.
It was a good time. Lots of drinking, and I think I'll do it again. They're going again this year. So
awesome. I try to go in July when the flatheader's spawning and it kind of dies down here.
Yeah.
I try to go down in July and a guide trip or two. Last year I didn't hit the July one, but I did go down in October and I hit 2 guide trips in October.
Tell you what, man, my goal this year, and it is my goal. I will catch a striper and I will catch a blue cat. That is my goal.
A wiper or striper?
Striper.
Oh, so you're traveling.
Yeah.
Like I think I've caught 3. 2 were in Texas and 1 was in Tennessee, I believe.
Yeah, I'm not traveling that far. I'm gonna pray to the fish gods on the way down to that trip. Throw one up, a couple Hail Marys.
That's right. As you know, everybody that's listening to the podcast, we always finish up with what we call as the last cast.
Yeah.
So the last cast is just something that you either want to revisit and kind of help explain a little more or talk about a little more, a topic that we haven't touched but you want to dive into, or just anybody you want to give a shout out to or anything you want to end the podcast on. I'll take the pressure off you and let you think a little bit.
Why don't you go ahead?
Yeah. First of all, I just want to thank you. Like I said, it was last night at like 7 o'clock. I'm like, what are you doing tomorrow? I'm doing a podcast.
I was sleeping.
So you came up, drove an hour and 15 minutes one way to hang out, get a cold burger that I picked up from a restaurant.
Don't downplay it. It's still warm.
And drink a couple beers. So I appreciate it. I can't thank you enough. Thank all you guys for watching. If you enjoy it, please like and subscribe. We need to get the Tasler Guide Service numbers up a little bit. Let's spread the word. Share it on social media. I also want to thank Whisker Seeker for everything you do for me. They help me out with terminal tackle, rods. Thank River Certified for everything you've done. Can't wait to fish with him. I haven't seen him for a few months. He's been down in Florida, so it's going to be good to get back out with him and give him as much shit as I possibly can. And like I said, it's my son's birthday week, so happy birthday, Garrett. Can't wait to outfish you like I always do, because you suck. Drastic Plastics, Scott Monroe. Scott's been a busy man. He's had a bunch of expos over in Wisconsin where he's from, but he's doing great things. Yeah, he's doing great things in the plastic world. So if you guys get a chance to check out Drastic Plastics, give him a shout out. Corey Weaver with JB's Fish Sauce. Corey's got a full line of scents. I use quite a bit of his stuff when I'm ice fishing, especially with my buddies, because it does kind of give you that little bit of edge. And also the secret sauce for catfishing has been clutch at times. Corey's a hard-working son of a gun. He earned his pro card on the bass tour, so he's going to be doing a lot of bass fishing this year. And when someone that deserves something and they achieve it, that's an awesome feeling. I'm so happy for that guy.
I've never met him, but I'm happy for him. He's
very similar to us. He's hard-headed.
Oh, yeah.
He's straightforward, and he does whatever it takes.
Oh yeah.
So it's awesome that he's succeeded. So give JB's Fish Sauce a look.
Last cast. I'm gonna throw the word integrity out there.
It's a good word.
Heard of an incident where somebody kept a 4 or 5 pound female walleye that was snagged. Integrity, man. Do the right thing. Even when no one's looking. If you foul hook a fish, put it back. Why do we have limits and laws, and if people aren't going to follow them?
Those fish biologists know what they're talking about. Right. The research is there. So I might not always agree with some of the regulations, but I know the basis behind them,
right.
And it's more than I know. So
and just because you're catching your limit, that doesn't mean call your buddies so they can come stand by you on the bridge and you can pile up fish.
Pile a cooler full.
Anyways, that's half of my last cast. I will say that.
my buddy that I trap with, my trapping partner, he always says the right thing is always the right thing.
That's right.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what you should do in that situation, so just do it. The right thing is always the right thing.
It's kind of like when you go fishing and you take all this stuff in with you, take it back out with you.
Yeah.
Same concept.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
Do the right thing. And then the other half of the last cast is, I've said it before, take a kid fishing. If you got a niece, nephew, if you don't have kids, try and find a family member or
an organization.
Even reach
Boy
out
Scouts,
to boys and girls clubs. There's plenty of troubled kids out there that would love to go fishing, and you know, who knows, maybe that one time you take a kid out, it could steer him in the right direction. There's little things that cause big changes, both good and bad. Right.
So be one of those little things.
And last but not least, thank you for having me on.
Oh, anytime, man. I've always had a good time when we've hung out.
I'm glad that we ran into each other that day on the ice.
Yes, me too.
I think I made a new friend, and
absolutely.
I'm glad you asked me to come on.
We're too bullheaded and same-minded to not get along.
Right.
You know, we got kind of the same sense of humor. We give each other shit. Yeah, it's gonna be good times to come for sure.
Yeah, like and subscribe.
Yeah, look up Central Iowa Angler as well. He's gonna get on it.
I'm just stacking the content.
That's right. He's gonna release like 15 videos in a 5-day span.
No, I'm gonna get like probably 8 or 10 built up.
Yeah.
And then start launching them.
Start a weekly or bi-weekly or something.
I might do every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Just to start. If I start with 8, I might be able to do every week. It's just that pressure of constantly
adding stress to it. Yes, and that's where I've been the last 2 weeks.
That's why I want to get like 8 built up, and then I feel comfortable enough where I can keep up pace to put out enough content.
But this time of year, it's so freaking hard.
Right,
I cannot wait for June.
What you need is the lakes to completely thaw, and then.
Or just quit my job and move south.
Or a couple windy days, like lakes to thaw, a couple windy days.
Yes.
And then
get the catfish on the wind-blown sides.
Maybe a wiper or 2 if you're lucky.
It's going to be a good time either way. But I'm going to keep pushing. You know, I'm going to make it work one way or another. Yeah. You know, I'll probably do a video on getting my boat ready because it's still in the barn, and I've not, because there's a lot of below freezing nights still ahead of us. Mm-hmm. So I haven't got it out and de-winterized it and got it ready yet.
Live a little farther north than I do.
Yeah. Arctic Circle up here.
I noticed when I was coming up, like right when I got maybe like 10 minutes away, my car's like, ice. Impossible. Be careful.
Be careful.
Come on, man.
Turn around, man.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. Hopefully, guys had as much fun as we did. We will see you next week with some monster fish that I catch and show my son that I'm still the boss. Have a great day. We'll see you next week.
See you guys.